us today. I would like to welcome you to our first webinar, which is hosted by the Center for the Fourth Industrial Revolution in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, C4IR KSA, which is part of the World Economic Forum Center for the Fourth Industrial Revolution Network. So on the behalf of C4IR and Eyotic, we are delighted to announce a dynamic partnership to deliver an enlightening series of webinars on sustainable industrial intelligence. So my name is Caroline, and I'm the Managing Director of the Saudi startup Eyotic. Our guest speaker is Mr. Guillaume Chaussard, digital manufacturing expert from Meta2i. I will introduce him shortly after. Eyotic aims to provide advanced manufacturing and fourth industrial revolution technology to the industrial sectors here in the kingdom. It contributes to achieving several national targets, either directly or indirectly, by enhancing the efficiency of the industrial sectors in the kingdom, as well as supporting its digital transformation. Eyotic was born from the partnership between Roots Ventures and Meta2i. Roots Ventures is a Saudi pioneer venture capitalist and venture builders focused on sustainability. Meta2i is a French technology pioneers in industrial intelligence and MES software with more than 30 years of experience. Through this partnership, Eyotic aims to offer unique skills to generate value for the kingdom in terms of sustainable industrial intelligence, expertise, and technology. As Eyotic, we are providing the Saudi Industry 4.0 platform from the localization of the robust and proven MES software named KMProd, created by our technology partner Meta2i. Our goal is to offer a fit-for-purpose and affordable solution to allow manufacturers to deliver the targets of Vision 2030 and the Saudi Green initiatives. The purpose of today's webinar is to share our expertise and experience in the field of MES, Manufacturing Execution System. As you know, today, Industry 4.0 is at the heart of the discussion, especially with the impressive ambition of Vision 2030 and Net Zero 2060. Industry 4.0 takes us in an area of connectivity, automation, advanced analytics, and other advanced manufacturing technologies. This new technology allowing to connect together all the organization processes. Industry 4.0 should be an enabler to meet the market requirements in terms of productivity and decarbonization strategies. Thus, for more than 40 years, manufacturing execution system has been positioned at the center of this environment. With the rise of data and connectivity, the role of MES becomes even more crucial. So today we will look at why and how MES is considered the brain of the future factories. To take you through that story, our guest speaker is Monsieur Guillaume Chaussard. Guillaume is an expert in digital manufacturing engineering. He graduated from a master's degree specialized in IT engineering. Guillaume has been supporting a large organization in their digital transformation journey through the implementation of systems, especially in the field of logistics. He has been working for the last 3 years with Meta2i as project manager and leads implementation of MES in medium and large manufacturing companies. Guillaume, the floor is yours, and we will conclude your presentation with a session of Q&A. Enjoy the presentation.
So good afternoon, everyone. So we will start to speak about the MES. MES means Manufacturing Execution Systems. It had been invented in the mid of the 80s. It has been normed by a norm called ISA 95. And we can find inside two names. We found the MOM and the MES. So the MES, it's a term which is commonly used in the USA, but we don't use this more often in Europe and in the rest of the world. The MES is here to describe how the factory should work, and the MES is here to use the MES as a specifics in order to make the factory work. So in the MES, you can find 11 subjects. You have the labor management, the performance analysis, the resource management, document management, process management, scheduling, data collections, maintenance management, flow of products and batches, quality management, and product traceability and genealogy. So the work done by the ATA has gradually created a much more generic version of MES and MES and turned it as real mastermind of the shop floor of the factory. So as I told you, the MES is the tool which implements the MES. It's the software, and the MES is the best practices for an efficient management. Here is to show you that the MES is really in the middle of the factory. The MES is here to communicate with all the other software, and it's here to help to produce and in order to manage the communication between all other software. So here you can find the ERP, the WMS, the LIMS, which is here to for quality check, the CMMS, which is here in order for the maintenance and for the production and help the production, and you have other logical software to help the planification. But the MES is in the middle part of all of this. Here to show you the MES in order to grab data from security, quality, cost, delay, and it's here to give for the user to help the user to produce, to manage the planning, and also for the manager to have some feedback about the production. The MES will make possible to collect manufacturing data and then return them to the right people at the right time. An important thing that the MES collect data in real time. So this is to show you that most of the factory have an ERP. The common one, the main use and is SAP, M3, IFS. And also on the field, they also have machines which produced some products, and also some software in order to use those machines. So those software have some data, and the ERP has other data. Here, the MES is here to fill the gap between the ERP and the field level. It's here to all the 11 functionality we see on the first slide, and in order to gather those data in real time. The ERP is here to have a view about the enterprise. It don't have a lot of data of what's inside the factory, what's happened in real time. So if the ERP receives the purchase order and plans them to a production in order to be produced and delivered with a certain time frame and regarding the client's demand. And we have so the visibility, so what has been produced and the cost of the production. But what's in the middle, this is the role of the MES. The MES is here to have a micro approach of the production, allowing the manufacturing company to efficient management, control, and execution production. The MES have a view of the factory. It doesn't he take care less about the costs and is more here to read the data inside the factory and gather the data from the ERP and send back all the production information back to the ERP and also to the manager. So what needs to be in mind that the MES is here to manage factory, the same as you can find the WMS for logistic sites. It's a software that is on the factory view. So this pyramid is, we can see it quite often. How I like to describe it, you have the level 0 and 1, which is the production and the software, that's the simple sensor and the software that managing inside the machines and all the physical material that is on site. The level 2 is here it's a software that will manage and give information and instruction to the physical layer. And the level 3, which here where we are with the MES, will gather the data and have the view of the factory, as the level 2 has the view of one machines and one point. So each time you go higher in the pyramid, the point of view is bigger. The level 4 is the ERP, where the point of view is the enterprise, the whole parts, all the sites, all the factory, and it's more here to manage the costs and the orders. And now we start to add a level 5 with the big data, where inside you can find all the BI, which is used mainly from the data gathered from level 4 and level 3. And also we start to have some IA and ML for the machine learning. So all of this structure, we want to say that level 3 will always speak with level 2 and level 4. But what we can see now with the Industry 4.0, that all of this software will communicate between each other. The ERP needs data from WMS, from MES, from all the other software, but the MES needs the data from the field, from the ERP, from the WMS. So we don't only speak with the higher and the above level, we speak with all the software. So what's allowed to the MES? We have the better distribute information. We will simplify the production process. We need to stress the respect of the regulatory compliance. We need to control the management. We need to optimize the quality control in order to have a better client satisfaction. And we need to significantly improve the traceability of the process. This is a really big point of the MES in order to know all the flow from the beginning until the end. We can also perform and analyze the continuous data and to track the improvement and the performance in the factory. So continuous improvement is a big point of the MES. We used in order to have all the data we gather, it's help to plan and to analyze what's wrong and what can be improved. The one important thing, the difference from the ERP, that most of the time with the ERP, we know when there is an issue, when the clients send us some feedback. With this and all the data, you can raise issue before the clients, and in order you can start to plan some actions in order to improve all the production and to improve also the client satisfaction and the quality of the products. So this is a continuous improvement in order to have better quality management and quality products. So most of our clients work with paper. This have a lot of can have some good points, but have also a lot of bad points. In order that you can lost some paper, you can have some issue. I'm sure you know all the issue you can have with the paper. Most of the time, the clients I work with used Excel sheets. Excel sheets can also give you a lot of information, but the main issue that all the users most of the time have their own Excel sheets and their own way of working, and also to send the manual entry into the Excel sheets, it takes a lot of time. So this is what we want to discard and to replace by using the MES. The MES can have clear screen, data which is up to date and with the real-time data, and also some information for the manager. In my experience, the first step in the MES is always to replace the Excel and the paper data. This is one of the main points, the common points from the client's point of view, because when all the people work with the same tools, it's easier to speak, to exchange, because we have the same vocabulary, we speak with the same data, and we are sure that we use the same language and we speak about the same informations. So most of the time, replacing the paper and the Excel sheets is one of the main, the biggest parts of the MES. And also, after the restitution of the data is given in almost, you can make the same stuff in the MES, but in Excel, sorry, but in the MES, all the user will have the same view and with the same data. This most of the time with Excel, every user use his own data, can make some changes and can exclude some data in order to have a better graphics and maybe to cheat about it. But with the MES, as all the users have the same screen, you cannot make this kind of modification. So the main point of the MES is to connect with the ERP. So the MES have a privileged role, and it can plan quality operation with the control plant, maintenance work orders consistent with the production planning, to transfer order to the workshop, stock, or a factory shop. The connection with the ERP, in my experience, is one really important thing, and it's the part where you need to have an expert in the MES. Why? Because most of the clients used the same ERP, but they use it in a different way. And as they are using it in a different way, the data that SAP are able to send to the MES is different. And the role of the expert here is to know what's the factory needs and what are the data that the ERP sends. And in order to gather all this information, to use the correct data from the ERP and to send after the correct data in the workshop and in the production site. And this can take quite time in the project, but it's a really important part, because all the all the rest of the production will depend of the correct configuration and of this connection between the ERP and the WMS. So the MES is also here to help the manager in different ways. We have an active supervision. We have accurate data, as it's not people who are writing data on a paper. It's the current real data from the machines. And also the starting of the production, the end of the production, when a machine has some issue. All those data cannot be modified as you want. It's the real accurate data. And we can also add different indicators depending of your needs and depending also of what you want to show and what's the important point for you. So this helps also the people to work and to use the real time and the work time in order to analyze and to think about to find a solution. They lose less time in order to set some data from paper to Excel sheets and all this stuff. So it's a big gain of time, but this time is used to have more, to raise more information and to increase the good time of the production time. The MES also helps to consolidate the data. As I told you, we will raise several different indicators. So the OEE is one of the most used. You have also the service rate. So the service rate is the out of the total number of order launched in production during a given time interval, and the number of orders which has been produced without anomalies on this time. So this helps you to know when you produced during one day if you have 20% of scraps or only 10% of scraps. And also this 10% of scraps, why are there scraps? Is it an issue from the operator? Is it an issue from the machines? And so you can find all this kind of data, and also you can have some capability to supply actual statue of the capability. One important point also, as I told you in the beginning, is the standardizing of your enterprise. What's here, when you have the same software in the different factory, all the people inside those factory will use the same screen, will see the same indicators, we have the same vocabulary, and also the same method of working. So here, when I told you that the MES has a point of view of a factory, the ERP is here to manage all the factory, but the MES, even if you have different factories, will have the same screen when it will gather the data the same way. So once a factory have an MES, you can put the same MES in the other factory in order to work the same way and to improve the production on both sides. This is a really important point. The MES also help to reduce the unexpected events, the lack of material, the unavailable equipment, and also the staff presence. One important thing that the MES will help you to see the issue the sooner is better. And with all the data you have some indicator that will tell you that during this production you had an issue, but you can manage to reproduce the product before to send them to the operator. the main goal is to hold these unexpected events, to have a real-time point of view on it, and to be able to have the good reaction and to manage to correct this issue before it's too late. Here, this slide is to show you that the MES is integrated with the concurrent system implemented. So LIMS for quality, GMAO, normally it's, you call it also CMMS, and WMS for logistic. And the MES with the MOM is in the middle of all those software. It's here to send the data between all of them and can gather a lot of information from all the software in order to give you the correct indicator and feedback for the manager. So the MES, you have with the MES in the factory, the various services. As I told you, you found the MES for the production, the LIMS for the quality, CMMS for the maintenance, and WMS for logistics. So each of these solutions provides relevant information in the core business. However, an overall vision is missing. So the ERP software offer provide, as he gathers the data from all the software, a macro approach, but it cannot give you a real-time information. So that's why the MES can gather data from all the software and give you real-time information and also the correct view of your factory. So the MES adapts to its environments and to the manufacturing business in order to provide the right information at the right time to the right person. I think you start to understand it's really the main part of the MES. It's the data. So the MES guarantees to the relevancy of the collected informations. The MES makes sense of what the information is light of the context, and also the MES consolidates the information. So the MES is here to gather data and to use this data to give information to the right person in order to have traceability, in order to correct some issue, and all what you can do with those data. So it's the keystone of the industrial intelligence. One point also is the MES is here to select the correct data, because you can have also a lot of data, but sometimes too many data and it's not good also. So the MES is also here in order to select the relevant data in order to give you the relevant informations. To conclude a bit about the MES, so MES is a cornerstone of the industrial intelligence. MES is the key to unlock the industrial intelligence, and MES, as you saw, is the heart of the factory. To give you a bit of context, during the 20th century, it was dominated by the oil area. And nowadays, what we found that the biggest company is the company that manage data. So it's in the same way as the MES is here to manage the data of the factory in order to give it better production value. So a small illustration to give you an example of what we have in a factory. So the sensor it's really the beginning. The network and the connection to the sensor is the next point. After, we can also gather some data. So we start to have some products, but we can do better. After that, all those data are saved on factory in the web. And the main goal of the MES is to give the data and the information the value and to create valuable products, and also to improve the values of the data you have inside of your factory, because the data, you already have them in your factory. Small illustration of the MES and what is managed. So here also you have important point, that is the traceability with the batch number of the raw material that you received. You will send instruction given to the operator. You can have status stock in real time. The manager will send the order to the operator for production, and you will generate your serial number of to control the product. The operator in the workshop will make the production, and so the batch number of the consumable we will be able to follow all this line from the batch number of the raw material. So this is really important stuff for automobile, aeronautic, or all this kind of factory. Some use case that will help you to understand more what we are talking. So here we are on a thermal treatment factory. So in the context, the surface treatment for machine parts, it's a paper-based report, and it's generated at the end of the treatment. And there is already an MES. The need is to understand the variability of the customer returns. So in action, we setting up indicator based on operator, date of the beginning and the end of operation, and the product versus the treatment. This help you on the outcome that some operator consolidate several aeronautical production orders in the oven, so it's an overload of the oven. So the modification of the instruction in order to alert the operator about non-consolidation, and also addition of the alert of the reports. And the number of customer returns is more significant from the team composed mainly of interim and temporary staff. So this helps you to understand that training an operator is important to have a valuable and product with high quality. One other example that I can give you, that a client came to see us in order to to create big lingots of aluminium. So in order to manage the oven from the beginning until the end. And there was 2 points that the client wants to see with us, that the paper, to change the paper, and in order to have real time data for the timeline of the treatment, and what should be done, and if you are in late or if you are in early, and also to follow which teams create which products. And every time, so you found sometimes that some teams have produce less valuable data, with less valuable products, and also as they were reading data in real time and follow the curve of the oven and what's how the aluminium melt and all this kind of stuff. They start to try to change some configuration in the oven settings in order to see and to try the best way to reduce the gas consumption and also to have the same quality at the end. So this could not be done with without the MES. And one other example was a client who was only working with Excel sheet for planification and paper sheet for production. And so we managed to have a planification that is automatically made every day. So at the beginning of the day, you can know for the next month all the production, depending of the time that the ERP sends for each operation. And we know is able to say that the products will be finished in 1 week and to send back the information for the client. What's the feedback of the client is that the date is sent back to the client for the final product were often later that he was used to, but it was when he say a date, the client always received the product at the time he was saying. So the time was longer, but it was always in time. So he has to work with the commercial team in order to say that now where they announce, when they give a production date for the clients, they are sure that this date will be maintained and that the product will be made at this time. And so he managed to reduce the client's disappointment to be late most of the time. And again, now is more working on the data we gather in order to improve and to set maybe on this machine we will work with 2 people, because I saw that during the lacking process, the painting process, it was here where all the products arrive, and it creates part-time where the products take too much time. So in order to improve his production, he knew that it was at this point that he needs to improve the machines or to put more people or this kind of stuff. So again, depending of what you need, what you are producing, and what you want to improve, the MES will use different data depending of the different software you have and raise the correct information for the manager and the rest of the team. So the conclusion, Industry 4.0 offer a wide range of new technology for the industrial universe. New means to acquire information, high effective and accessible, are today available. And with the MES, it gives yourself the means to use data and to improve your productivity.
Thank you very much, Guillaume, for this presentation. Let me open the floor for questions. If one of you have a question for Guillaume, I think it's the right time. You can either say your question or type it in the chat if it's easier. Sure, Faisal, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Guillaume. It was really interesting. My question is, you just mentioned that the connection with the ERP is crucial, and it's really important, to start collecting data. Same thing for the shop floor or the SCADA level. And all other applications that's in the shop floor or in the factory. In your opinion, why the ERP cannot make the connection direct to the machine or vice versa? Why we are adding the MES?
Most of the time, the ERP are using standard application, and also the way of their working is not made to gather a lot of quantity of data. And also, the ERP is not made to be connected to the production side, to the production machines. And if you want to perform this with an ERP, the cost will be really important because they try to work to standardize to sell always the same software with small adaptation. But was the force of the MES that the MES can adapt depending of your different machines, the different protocols, all this kind of stuff. The MES is here to adapt and to fit to your needs. That the ERP, most of the time, the enterprise needs to fit the way of the ERP is working.
Thank you, Guillaume.
Any other question? I have one, Guillaume, for you. So based on your experience, what is usually the challenge that your client are facing when implementing an MES? And what is the solution that usually you propose to ease that transition?
The main challenge is to start with most of the time you can't change everything at once. The best way to do is to start to have one focused objective, and once this objective is done and made, you can start to work around this objective. When you are connected to the ERP and you start to gather data, so you are able to manage your production. Once this is done, after you will have your feedback from the fields, and you start to use those data in order to improve your factory. So most of the time is the 2 or 3 steps in order to, because sometimes we think that there is an issue on with the people or with the way of working, and once the MES starts to give you some indicator, we saw that it's not those points which are the main issue. It's other points that is raised, so you can start to work with all those data. And also one important stuff on my point of view is also to find in the factory people who wants to lead the changes. When you have a lot of operator, you will always find operators that don't want to change and and want to work the same way. You have operators that they don't really take care of if it change, okay, I will change my mind. And you will always have operators that are in demand to create the change, to want to change and to improve. And the best way to put an MES in a factory is to use those operators that really want to change. And when you are using those operators, they will give you the correct feedback. They will give you the best way to improve. And also they will help you to motivate the other operator for the changes, because they are on the field, and as they speak with other, those operators are one of the key also for the success of the project. Okay,
so in summary, it's about the business objective you want. about
Yes.
a tiny small and identifying the right person to go step by step into that journey.
Exactly.
Thank you very much. Faisal?
Yes, thank you, Caroline. I have, a dual question. The first one, that in manufacturing, generally talking, we have three types of manufacturing. We have the continuous type, the discrete, and the batching, So my first question is, does the MES can adapt whatever, type of production that we have, or it's more, adaptable in one type from the other? The second question is, you talked about 11, modules or 11 verticals of the MES. In the factory, are we necessarily need to deploy the whole 11s, or can be module?
So the MES can fit every kind of production type. Some MES suits for specific type of productions, but the MES is here to fit every type of production. You can have a MES for food production, where you will have a focused on the batch number of traceability. You will have focus for the automobile and aeronautic. You will have MES which will focus more on the alloy and what's the issue when you are using certain alloy or this kind of stuff, and you can have all the you can manage all kind of type of production with the MES. And can you repeat your second question?
The second question, you mentioned that MES contain 11 modules or 11 verticals.
Yes.
To deploy an MES, are we necessarily in the obligation to deploy all the 11s, or
No.
We can choose?
This is again, it depends of your needs. The MES have in his hands all the 11 points we saw in the beginning. But if you don't need from now the quality, if you don't need from now the resource management or the planification parts, and you only need to have a MES to connect to machines in order to gather from data, from production data, to know what kind of issue is raised on this machine, you can only use one module, I want to say, from the MES in order to have a first step. And once you have this step, maybe you will need to have the quality module, but this is included, is included in the MES. So if you don't use it, it's okay. And if you need it later on, the module is here, the data are here, so you can start to work with what you already have.
So you say if I have in-house my simple method or module to calculate my OEE, is it sufficient to consider that I have an MES?
It depends of what kind of the data are. Sometimes we need to expertise what could be done and what is needed in order to see if the data are relevant or not. Quite a simple example I saw a few months ago, that the clients arrive with the data from 15 years ago, and he say, I have 15 years of data and I want to have an MES in order to calculate OEE, to calculate the quality of the production, all that kind of stuff. But the data which were collected during those 15 years were out of context. they don't have product information, they don't have user information. Most of the time, the time of the data were missing. So this is also the goal of the MES is to know, and also the experts, to give you which data will be relevant to use in the MES in order to give you the correct OEE, for example, or the correct feedback. But most of the time, the data you already have is enough to give you some information. And if you need more, maybe we need to add more sensor, more data on the field in order to gather those data to give you more precise calculation of your OEE and all other indicators which are raised.
I think that answered the question. We are reaching the hour. Are we taking a final question from the audience? If you want us to reach out after Mr. Abdullah, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. My question is, I think regardless the manufacturing system, while it's continuous or batch or whatever, it depends on the sensor and computerized of the shop floor components. I mean, like if it's industrial IoT or other sensors, just to collect this data. And you started comparing with paperwork and Excel sheet. So please correct me if I am wrong. I understood that the software is live and unified presentation for the data for the top level manager, but I missed if there any smart feature that link to smart factory, that link that take decisions in behalf of the worker or manager in any circumstances happen in any machines that's connected to the software. If there is any smart features that relate to Industry 4 other than connecting the data. Thank you.
Yes, this I will answer in two ways your question. That the data that we will gather and that from the production, from the field level and the sensor, we can use the data in order to have with machine learning and IA in order to tell you most of the time when you are this kind of entry in the data, you will have quality error or quality check. So with all those data, you will be able to do some work in this way, and also what you show to the manager, you also have some specific screen that can be made in order to give you real-time data with what you have on field and analyze those data in order to raise some issue depending of your previous data. So this will be done by analyzing your current data and in order for the future production, in order to raise information to prevent issue. And one other point that I am working on myself is for the quite simple example for the surface treatment, where you need to paint some profiles. We are working on planification tools using AI in order to optimize where to plan the surface treatment in the different booths in order to don't have lose time during the cleaning, and that the production line is in production during 100% of the time. So you can include the AI depending also of again, the same question. It's what's your goal? What do you have? What do you already have? And regarding this, you can make some changes in order to use the AI to learn with the previous data in order to raise some issue or to improve the planification, the production, and to send the correct instructions for the production sites or the production machines.
Thank you, Guillaume. Faisal, you want to add to this?
No, I can believe that, the algorithm and the scripting that the MES module can be specific to calculate all these, inputs, rather to predict or to give guidance about the production and how the improvement and the performance is going. But just a question, maybe it's related, Guillaume. If I'm through an auditing process, to have some kind of ISO standardizations, qualifications, what's the added value of the MES in this process? I understood that it's a production tool that will help during the production, but in this side, of auditing process, what's the added value of the MES, please?
The MES is here to centralize the data. You can have specific tools in order to improve the production of machines, but these specific tools will not be linked with the ERP and the purchase order. It will not be linked with the WMS and the stock management and the other software. The main goal of the MES is to be linked with whatever it can be linked in order to give context to the data. You can have a lot of data, but as they are not in a context with production order, with the stocks availability, with the quality check, with the LIMS, and with the maintenance also with the TMS, with all the software, it cannot, the data are not relevant enough. Here the MES is here to gather the data from and to communicate with all the software around him in order to give the context and the good information from the data we gather. The data by itself, it doesn't have a lot of values, and the MES is here to add the values of this data depending of all the information from the other software.